come from the Big Island of Hawaii. I'm a nutritionist who turned into a horticulturalist to be able to grow the best quality food possible. And sandwiched in between, I have an animal science degree as well. I work as a researcher and also as a crop consultant with farmers and gardeners to help them grow the very best quality food possible. Genetically engineered foods are the antithesis of that. These foods are poor in nutritional quality, and they're also dangerous. So these foods are completely unnatural in the way that they're created. They use gene guns, they use viruses, they use antibiotic markers. It's something completely unnatural. It's taking genes from one type of an organism, like a bacteria, and inserting it with force into another organism, like corn. What we end up with is chaos. And so the thing is that the average person on the street doesn't know that they're eating these things. These foods are harmful. Animals have died because of that. You'll see testimony on your desk, I believe, with photos, yes, of rats that have tumors. These things are dangerous to our environment. Let loose, there's no way that we can reclaim them. We're having cross-contamination with crops. It's a serious situation. Animals have died, people have died. So the GMO foods need to be removed from the marketplace. I've been working for GMO awareness campaigns, trying to let people know what it is that they're eating, and let's push for GMO labeling. That's a step in the right direction.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Members, any questions? Thank you. Next is Melissa Yee, followed by Nana Howard.
Aloha, Chairperson Ring Harimoto and council members. I thank you for allowing us to speak today. I know we've been before you many, many times before, and this has been ongoing for about a year. Last year in December, we knew not anything about this resolution that was in the HSAC package, and we have since then learned a lot, so it's been a good educational process for us. My background as a doctor of acupuncture and oriental medicine is to teach my patients the better way to live so that they do not have to be dependent on drugs and surgery and other conventional forms of treatment to keep them healthy. We're facing a health crisis in this country, and it's not because we don't have proper health care. We have enormous resources available to us. We have some of the best medical technology in the whole world, and yet our people are suffering. And besides that, we also have corporations which have enormous influence over the politicians who are sitting in this room today, as well as politicians in Congress and people of great influence, including in the media. And because of this influence, we're not able to access the proper information to make a proper judgment about whether or not we feel that GMO is a good thing for us. Therefore, we, in our groups, I'm the coordinator for Seeds of Truth, which is educating the public about GMO. We have come to the conclusion that the politicians, many of them, are in collusion with government because there's a certain agenda of promoting corporate profit. And as long as you are part of that agenda, then we're very sad to see that you are not representing the people. And so we come before you time and time again. We've taken time out from our work, from our schedules, from taking care of our children, to be here today. And we will come again and again and again until you realize that you are wrong in defending the corporate agenda. That you must understand this is the very food that you are all eating and consuming every day. Some of you may not be able to have children, and that could be because of the GMO food that you're consuming. So I urge you today to reinstate the GMO labeling. I also support the repeal of Act 55 because I think this is a travesty on the public. Again, this is pushed through by certain people in the state legislature to fulfill an agenda on behalf of the corporations. And this is not for the benefit of the people. And that's why we look you in the eyes today, those of you who are not looking us back in the eyes, and tell you that we are watching you, because we're not happy with what we're seeing. And I'm very disappointed at many of the people who were reelected in this past election, because they're really not worthy of being in that position, in my opinion. And therefore, we will continue to monitor what you are doing, and we will continue to push for GMO labeling, because that's the only way that this humanity can survive. Thank you.
Dr. Yee, I just don't get it. Question. Since this council doesn't have the jurisdiction or power thereof, any authority to mandate labeling on anything, it's out of their jurisdiction. What's the problem telling the state legislature, 76 people across the street, take heed?
I think the problem is that the people here in the council have many friends in the state legislature, and some of them have come from the legislature and aspire to go to the legislature to serve. Unfortunately, again, they're serving the corporate interests. They're not serving the people. And that's why, if you really are committed to your job, I urge you to support what we keep coming back and talking about. So the counties, the other islands have said repeatedly, unanimously, we must have GMO labeling. We are suffering because of it. Our environment is being affected, our health is being affected. We are being affected on a daily basis. We import 90% of our food. And if we continue to do that, there's only doom ahead for Hawaii. We can continue to glorify ourselves in the thought that tourism and military and seed industry will save us, but we have to get back to growing our food. And the first step would be GMO labeling, because when people know what they are eating, they will refuse to eat GMO.
So Chair, final question then. So to clarify in the testimony that you submitted 2 written testimonies, by the way. I have 2 here from you. Clarification then. Are you saying then that maybe we just don't get it here on Honolulu, the council, they just don't understand the scientific ramifications? Or is it that you're saying in your testimony, it has nothing to do with science, it has nothing to do with studies, this is a pure follow the money trail?
Yes, it's very much follow the money trail, and also I don't think people are exercising their common sense when it comes to GMO. Because if you talk to a mother, a housewife, who has only learned about this recently and begins to research it, she understands that this is very dangerous. It's a very dangerous procedure that the scientists have unleashed into the environment, into our food supply. So I think the council members really need to listen to our side. I mean, you're so beholden to the lobbyists that you don't have time to listen to us. And I think that's a crying shame. And the people who are sitting here before me, I know who you are, and I know that you are beholden to these lobbyists. You take money from them and you only listen to them. But as I said before, yes, some of you don't get it, and I'm really sorry that you will be leaving the council, because you probably were one of the few independent voices here that spoke out on behalf of the people.